What's up, everybody? Thank you for being here. I'm here with the world's largest trash bag, that being the Masshole Report. In fact, Lackluster is prettier than her, so I'm going to put him up top.
He really is. So that's accurate.
I wanted to bring to people's attention some stuff that's been going on. I've been kind of quiet the past 10 days, but I think, as you guys know, delete Lawz. He films in Massachusetts. Everything's going great. And then I think you've all seen the video about what happened at the Memorial Day parade. So we're there, and we had a discussion that we didn't want the rhetoric or the message we were trying to push to have to do with children, especially some of the language being used. Regardless, Kate, our friendly neighborhood trash bag, shows up, and it starts as a good trolling. You know what I mean? Like, I'm having fun. It quickly escalates to the point where he gets he commits several acts of physical aggression, and you can't really see it on his end because he wants to be the star of his video all the time. So even when he's doing an interview about victims, the only person you see in the video is delete Lawz. So I go back and I review my footage, and it's not a good look for Chille at all. And then he immediately tells me that I need to take this information down. Turns out that he winds up threatening to give false information to the government to try and get me imprisoned for releasing this video. So for several days, I was actually quiet about this, but I was giving this information to places like Masshole Report and to Lackluster, people, James Freeman, who's here now, people on both sides of the fence. So that way, should anything happen, this information has been saved. So this is just the start of things getting rough, is these threats to have me in prison. And I should mention, for someone that's going around preaching law and order, telling small children, don't trust the cops, they'll rape you, he could not have more quickly ran to the police, which is another issue of that I have with it personally, because I don't go to the cops. I mean, you guys can see this. I think the only time I ever contacted the police was when trolls showed up to my mother's house. So
the Coke bottle thing?
No, separate from that. People
okay, because I remember the Pepsi can. I just remembered that. It was Pepsi can, right?
Right. It was a Coke bottle. It was Coca-Cola. So they at least chose the better brand. So this type of information is happening. And as it happens, like, I had been an ardent supporter of Chille to my detriment, right? Like, I caught a lot of heat, like when DirectD and SJVT and Freeman were all kind of outing him. I didn't do anything because I always go by the moniker that I'll let you fuck me first, and then I'll have nothing to do with you. And then that seems to be exactly what happened. Everything that everyone warned me about wound up being the case. And it wouldn't be right if I didn't have receipts. So we kind of did this last minute. But for example, you have to understand that this guy has set up. Now, Kate, you want to tell people about how his businesses work? Because, I mean, my basic understanding is he sets up these businesses to get monetary assistance from investors, and then to apply for lines of credit. But once it comes to actually registering the businesses, he lets it fall flat, starts a new business, and then kind of Ponzi scheme pays back the previous investors. Is that about the gist of it?
That's what we're guessing. To be fair, I don't 100% know. I'm still trying to piece together. So what I know for sure, after looking it up, is that he tends to start a lot of these corporations, these LLCs. He immediately lets them fall apart, so they get administratively suspended, which means he'll incorporate, and then he'll never file an annual filing, so the business falls apart. I've been told by numerous people now that what he's doing is he's essentially using it as a front to get investor money, and then apply for lines of credit on products that never come to fruition, and then just kind of drops it. What the assumption is at this point is that he's probably using the money that he gets from the next product that's never going to happen to pay back something from the people that invested on the previous product that never happened. But honestly, from what I know about and what I've heard about at this point from multiple people, not just you, he also employs blackmail and extortion and threats a lot. So I don't know at this point, right? It could be that he's just literally like, people invest in him, realize that their money isn't going and is not going to be making any money, and then he has shit on them, holds it over their head, so they don't want to fucking say anything. That could be it too. I don't know.
Well, I mean,
which
it's
I've
not
never
just
done
like
to you. I've never
it's
done
not.
to you. I just want to put. I've never tried to get you thrown in jail, and we're fucking enemies. I've never
I still
tried to do
hate you.
that. And I hate you
And
too.
it doesn't fall at that because it gets to a point where he has so many liens on him. Now I do have his full criminal background check. And my criminal background isn't a secret. I talk about it. Everyone else has talked about it. But he would have you believe that he doesn't have a criminal record. Now, as far as I'm concerned, that doesn't affect me. The person you were yesterday is different than the person you are today. It can be different than the person you are tomorrow. However, it's about being open and honest with your subscribers, right? Because if he's going to lie about one thing, who's to say he's not lying about the other thing? Now, I am not going to put the criminal record up here because I don't want to bring the attention to the victim that's involved in these cases. And I haven't had time to edit out their names, but I think that at least two of the people on this panel have seen the totality of the criminal record that does exist. I mean, convictions like stalking, a strangulation charge, multiple restraining orders.
I'm not familiar with any strangulation. I would have to see that. The only reason I'm pointing that out is because I try to be fair, and there was a little bit of a discrepancy in some of these commercial background sites in particular. There seems to be some sort of misnomer, and so he's actually having some charges attributed to him. And when you go back in the courts and look, it's either not him or it's somebody that has a really close name. So I'm not familiar with the strangulation. The stalking, 110% is him, verified, no questions asked.
Yeah. So I mean, and I will double check. I had seen that, but if you're saying that could be a different record, then allegedly.
Yeah, I have what I'll share with you too, like, when we're off this, but I have what I consider to be a pretty accurate and total, sort of criminal record here, which, like, I have one too. And if Chille had just let the judge talk, not this hearing, but the last one, he would have gotten it, but too. So I don't need to hide from it, but I try to be as accurate as possible. So, I mean, like, yeah, he's got a bit of a criminal record. Again, like, I think the most major thing would be that GHB manufacturing and sale, which I know now was a diversion, a drug court diversion. Thank you very much, Massachusetts courts. But, I still am not entirely convinced that he's not a fucking snitch.
Yeah. So another thing that's interesting is I see a lot of people in the chat saying, oh, Josh, you finally woke up. Everyone on this panel knows that I've been dealing with this for almost 2 weeks now. Like, as soon as this incident happened, as soon as we left Kate and then it came time to let's go confront the police about it, that's when these incidents started happening. So I was kind of tight-lipped about it. And for my own sake and freedom, I did remove the video. However, almost immediately, I sent everyone on this panel, people on both sides of the fence, the full video of what happened. Just so if anything did happen to me, there was documentation of it. But I want you guys to know what's happening. For example, Chille hosted they hosted a panel a couple days ago, maybe about a week ago. Actually, it was right after this incident happened because I think he wanted to get back into the people's good graces. So what he was going to do for us, the people, since he is such a kind and a beloved gem of these United States of America, is he was going to have several people on and feature their stories and ask everyone to send Cash App, PayPal. Oh, hold on, let me get James on the big screen. Those are free range boobies. So you're on mute, James. We can't hear you. Figure out how to use a microphone. You have 400,000 subscribers. Better yourself, man. What's going on? Still can't hear you. I'm mute, buddy. You are on mute. I'm not even fucking with you right now. There you go.
Hey guys, this is my first day.
Okay, there you go.
I was trying to be discreet about it. Somebody asked to see them, so I was just trying to stretch. And
there you go. Just air it out. As long as you're not saying any bad words today. No. So keep in mind, folks, that he does this and he says, all right, so for example, I think Great Lakes Audits, which he had nothing to do with this. And then there was Christy and Sarah. They go up in his panel and he features each one of their stories and asks if you can donate to them. So that way you guys can help them through their cause. What he didn't tell you or anyone else was what you're seeing on the screen now. Let me put the first one up first so I have them chronologically. He's talking about the Cash Apps. I'm going to list yours, and then anything over $5,000, we will work with it for the people involved. But it's going to be tough to reach $5,000. I'm going to list it, and we're going to pull the money at the end. Hold on a second. Let's continue to read. I have $4,000 going to Bobby, $1,000 going to Mo for the website stuff, for the public information request, demand for return to property, and 4 other documents. People really believe in him, and Great Lakes is a friend to him, which is why I don't think anyone thought to say, wait, why are you having us go up there and asking people to send us money for our causes so then you can go send the money to somebody else? Why wouldn't we just do a donation run for those people? Because he's the one pulling in these funds. Like, that makes no sense in and of itself. So now say that we have two issues of dishonesty in regards to finances and stuff like that. I don't make money people think that I make. I get some people thinking that I make this a ludicrous amount of money. When I see $136 missing from my debit account, I notice that, right? So as you guys can see, let's find that $386. That was for a hotel. I went on my account and paid for Chille's hotel. So you can see right there, that's from 5/29/2022. That was for a 2-night stay so he could go out and film with us. Shortly after the Kate incident happened, I mean, right after the Kate incident happened, I look at my account and I see this $130.69 charge, which is strange because I didn't pay for his room. I call up the place and I'm told that he used my card. And he told me, oh no, I gave them my card information and they just must have made a mistake. I spoke to the woman at the front desk. She was very clear. First of all, this kind of mistake cannot happen because if he's swiping a new card versus just recharging a card that's in the system, it's two separate prompts. So that couldn't have been a mistake. Secondly, she said straight up, like, he was very clear, charge the card on file. So now we have all these issues of dishonesty, and of course we have conversations where he's telling me, oh, we can't let the trolls divide us. Josh, we can't let the trolls divide us. And I have a hard time understanding like how he can be so neurotic to the point where it's not the trolls that are dividing us. Buddy, you beat a woman, and when you beat a woman, you threatened me with imprisonment, even though you hate imprisonment and you hate the cops, but you ran to them pretty quickly. And then you stole from me, and now you're Ponzi scheming everyone, and you're trying to take over my home. Like that's what the divisiveness was. Like I welcomed this guy. He couldn't stay here because he was carrying his guns, and everyone should have their own Second Amendment right. I really don't give a shit as far as gun licenses go, but he couldn't stay at my house. And, because he's driving around because he has these firearms, he doesn't have a license for them. In Massachusetts, you need a license. And if you do have a license, they need to be disassembled and the ammunition has to be stored separately. That was not the case with him. So he was not going to stay here. But, we fed him, did his friggin' laundry. And then I go out at 10 p.m. at night. And I sent a picture to, I think, James, Lackluster, and Kate, that he's got his van backed into my driveway with an extension cord running out of the sunroof, and it's plugged into my, and I'm wondering why the Wi-Fi isn't working. So today we go to court, and I'm sitting in the audience, and Kate will give you on her show, she'll give you an update what happened here. Let's just say, if you guys didn't know, if you didn't think a judge could make a court ruling on record that someone had been trolled, a judge can do that. I'll leave it at that, which was hysterical. But I didn't even speak. I sat there. And not for nothing, the constitutional law scholar didn't do so hot. Masshole Report lodged 2 formal objections. Both were, the judge didn't say sustained, but every time she made an objection, the judge quickly moved him on to the next topic. But I said nothing. I sat there. Now, when we went on recess, he immediately started messaging me while I was outside during the court recess. And afterwards, he does this live stream about how AFA is a snake, right? And I have all my subscribers reaching out saying, how could you do this? You pretended to be his friend and to screw him over. I just haven't went public with any of the stuff that's been going on, but this stuff has been going on for 10 days. You know what I mean? And I said I wasn't going to do anything until he fired first. Now he put me in a position. Suffice it enough to say, everyone, SJVT, DirectD, James, Lack, they all told me so. And so that is on me. But apparently I am a snake in the grass because I released a video of him beating up a chick, and I wouldn't hide that video. So
beating up is kind of, I wouldn't call it beating up.
No, he's an alpha.
Can I concentrate on this real quick? Because I just want to make a couple points, though. Josh Abrams is looking like you're aligning yourself with me at all, or quote unquote assisting me in any way. Is that beneficial to you realistically?
No, absolutely not. It's detrimental.
Right. Yeah, if he's harmful to you, probably, right? Like, yeah, anyone who says that this is like some sort of credibility killer, like, my opinion doesn't matter here anyway. But with all due respect, I think you're a fucking retard. Like, if anything, this should be a credibility. Like he has absolutely no reason, personally or professionally, to ever go to court with me, unless it's like, I mean, no, because neither one of us even call the cops, right? So there's no reason to go to court, but he fucking did because
several cops drove by us and now gave Kate the stink eye because she was standing within a general vicinity of me. And like, I'm not friends with her. And some people, he's trying to explain to people that, oh, this will help Josh because now he'll have the 1A people and he's also going to get the troll community. That's not how that works. Look at the video I released today. I don't delete comments unlike Chille. So you'll see all the negative comments people have to say. Bitch tits is still a fucking piece of shit. They still don't like me, Chille. They just hate you way more. I didn't do this at the end of the day because I'm aligning myself with Masshole or Kate or trying to endear myself to them. I'm doing it because no person is going to tell me what I can and can't do, what I can and can't release. And for you to get on the scene and purport to be an activism after you've been kicked out and deleted from every other community you've been involved in, for you to then use the very people, like he's in a courtroom today saying, yeah, I hate the police. Hey, judge, you want to help me with this? I also want to press criminal charges. Like, this is the person, he has this long substantiated history of blackmailing people. And it's not just that. After he left me, he went to New Hampshire. And when he got to New Hampshire, he went to visit a guy at his house, right? And he tells this guy that he needs his time to think. So he kicks the man out of his own home. So now the guy has given up his home to Chille. This guy's at a hotel. He comes back at 6:15 and allegedly he finds certain paraphernalias. And I will leave it at that. And this guy had a total fucking meltdown and kicked Chille straight out of his home. So then when Chille moved on to the next one and found himself some investors in his app. So I'm sitting in the car with Chille and he's talking to his cousin about making this app. And he has this big investor that's going to invest in the app. And his cousin's saying, like, realistically, that doesn't work. Like, YouTube isn't that simple. You're making a really complex issue out to be something simple. He's like, oh, we don't need to create the app. We just need to make it look good for an investor. So he speaks to this investor who says, I'll toss you a large sum of money, which they wound up sending him, if you can actually produce this app and show me what it is. Later that night, he's got an extension cord hooked up and he's showing you a skeleton version of Google Maps with little pillow poppers on it, purporting it to be an actual application that in no way, shape, or form exists. Lackluster. He tried to endear himself. That's what a con does, right? Like, when you go out with them, they'll spend all the money. They'll make themselves look really good. They will be the most lovable person you have ever met. So then later down the line, they can either ask you something in return, they can ask you quid pro quo, or they can try and push you into doing something. If you don't do it, out comes the blackmail, right? I mean, you have the situation, for example, Lackluster. He has been nothing short of a godsend in this community because he's not like the other big channels that will just feature really big people. Like him and James, they'll feature anyone. They want to get out, what our movement is and try and help people. He really wants to try and help people. And he did the same thing. And he just questioned Chille. And that's all it takes is a question. James questioned Chille, Lackluster questioned Chille. The reason they didn't get physically assaulted is because they're men. He has a severe inferiority complex. Like if it's a man that's getting in his face, he will back down immediately, as he did with James and Lack. When it's a woman that dares to question his authority, then you have some real problems, and he's willing to call you. I mean, terrible burns. I'll get you, you psycho chick. That was wonderful. He threatened to go to Lackluster's home, right? He tried to endear himself to Lackluster. He wasn't taking the bait, and he was like, listen, man, you're lying. You're saying I'm trying to contact you. Well, Lackluster, what happened?
Yeah, I was going to say, don't conflate like him endearing himself to me and his threat to come to my home. Those are two very separate issues, and is the reason why I told him don't ever contact me again. I'd like to back up a little bit. I want to kind of give you guys my history that I've had with this guy. He reached out to me when he was still on TikTok. And at first, just like everybody else, I'm like, oh, cool. The message seems kind of neat. And in fact, I kind of agree with a lot of what he's saying and some of the goals that he has, right? This is way back in the beginning. So he starts messaging me on Instagram, telling me I'm wrong, everything I'm doing is wrong. I have great video presentation, but everything I'm saying is wrong. I have to talk about Terry v. Ohio, and I'm got sick of it at one point, and I was like, dude, look, I'll look into it. If you want to present something even on my channel, I'll let you do a little 3-minute spot and I'll post it. But as far as my channel, I know what I want to say, and I'm fluent in saying what I have to say. So I'm going to keep doing that because it's working. And so he got super pissed about that. And he told me I'm nothing but a fuck reporter. This is all on text message too, so I can prove that at some point if I have to. So he tells me I'm a fucking reporter, and then I need to give him James Freeman's number. Oh, and then he lied about he lied to a bunch of my friends about how many times we talked on the phone. It was really weird. I don't understand why he did that, but that was the first weird lie that came out of him. And then he called me a fucking reporter, which is fair. I mean, I don't have any qualms with that, but the way he did it was just, yeah, fuck you, dude. So anyway, I kept my distance a bit. Then what happens? Oh, and so he tells me I have to give him James Freeman's number. And I said, no, I won't give anybody's number. I'll give James Freeman your number. Well, James Freeman doesn't reach out, and that's fair. That's his choice, right? So then Chille tells me that he's going to make a video, and it's going to expose me and James Freeman. And that's going to come out on October 24th, which happens to be the day that he told Talib Kweli to get on his knees and get back in the studio and write him a song. Talib Kweli is a very well-known, somewhat underground hip-hop artist, if you guys don't know, who also leads some big black initiatives throughout the United States, closely related to Black Lives Matter. So anyway, that goes back and forth with like Ice Speak telling him he's going to choke out Ice Speak's wife and stuff like that. I don't know if any of this is true. The choking out. I don't think I've seen that text message, but so needless to say, the video that exposed me and James Freeman never happened. And he begged me for help. He left me voicemails nonstop, just like called me over and over again, texted me over and over again without any replies from me, and begged me to help him to tell everybody that he wasn't a racist. And, you know, I don't know whether he is or isn't. It's not for me to say. I just think it's all funny. And
it's hard.
It's just like there's so much, so I'm trying to like remember exactly like where it's at. So
okay, you need a bullet point and a PowerPoint presentation to list every time that he's fucked you.
I need a script for sure, but damn, I had it too. So yeah, then he leaves me all these voicemails on like how he's watched videos on how to give true apologies, and so this is my real apology. So it was like very ingenuous, like and so I never responded to that. And then he gets kicked off TikTok, comes onto YouTube, and you know, I donated a bunch of money for you know, to help with whatever he was doing in Ironton, because it seemed like he was doing something really good, and I guess I hadn't learned my lesson. So that whole thing happened, and then James called him a statist, and then I was like, well, yeah, I agree, he's a statist. And I said that in some other chat, and Chille saw it, and then he said it hurt his feeling, and I said, well, you are a statist. And he said, well, debate me. And I said, okay. So I was going to debate him, right? And then he starts getting kind of upset about it. Oh, no. Then he goes on, I think it was your stream, AFA. He says, Lackluster. He says on your stream that he has called me and left me a bunch of text messages about the debate, giving me bullet points of exactly what he wants to argue about, and that I hadn't responded, trying to make me look like I'm the bitch, right? All that's a lie. So Chille calls me, and I call him out in that stream. I said, no, you're lying, dude. You haven't reached out once, you know? AFA reached out like the day that we were going to set it up, but other than that, I hadn't heard shit from Chille. But he's saying he's giving out all this info or calling me and stuff. And so he finally does call me, and he tells me that he did He's trying to convince me that I'm the dumb one and that he did call me a bunch of times and that I'm lying to myself or something. And so I showed him screenshots of all my call records showing that there's no phone calls. And then he made a little video. You guys might have seen it. And he's like, I apologize. I had the conversation in my head. And so I thought I actually made the call, which is like complete bullshit.
Wait, that's great though if you think about it.
You haven't seen that?
Literally, how much of like a sociopath? Like I was talking to myself that time. It's all the voices in my head can get confusing.
So, yeah, it's ridiculous, and maybe that was true, right? Let's give him the benefit of the doubt that maybe that was true, and that he thought he had called me several times and left me several text messages, but it was all just in his head, and he thought it was real, right?
I think it's real. I think it's real. A lot of things happen in his head that don't happen in reality.
Yeah, it might be. So at this point, now I'm kind of pissed. I'm like, well, screw this guy. I'm not going to give him my platform. I'm not going to debate him. You know, like why would I if he's going to lie and try to make me look like a dick? It's not going to be a fair debate if he's coming in bad faith immediately, right off the bat, before it even happens. So I kind of distance myself. I watch from the distance, and Memorial Day parade happens, and I see it from Chille's point of view, and it's interesting that the camera is getting covered, and I can hear the cop saying twice, I see what you're doing. You're walking quickly and stopping short, making a run into you. And then I see Kate's video where you can blatantly see him elbow the phone out of Kate's hand. And then I see Josh's video. And when I first saw Josh's video, I had very many questions, just like everybody here in chat did. Why is it so edited? And at first, I thought Josh is bunked up with Chille. Josh is bad. Okay, because before this, I really haven't had much communication with you, Josh, other than like a couple videos we worked on. But so at one point, Josh calls me, and I'm about to ask him why the video is so edited. And before I can even ask him, he tells me that it's not edited, that the video was paused. And the reason it was paused, can I tell this, Josh?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Yep.
And the blackmail and all that? The alleged blackmail?
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, man.
All right, cool. So the reason that he had to pause his video in a bunch of different parts is because Josh is on parole. And if he is in the presence of a crime, he can get violated and sent back to jail. There's a possibility. Whether or not it'll happen, who knows? It didn't now because Josh was covering his ass. So he's trying not to record a crime. Otherwise, he'd be forced to report it and be violated. So his video misses a bunch of the assaults on Kate. Now, what Kate did is it terrible? I don't think it's terrible. Was it right? Maybe not. I don't care. But like realistically, it's what we do to cops. You know, we track down their location with scanners and go film them. And you know, some people yell at them. Whether or not you like that style of auditing or whatever, who cares? It's the same fucking thing. Get over it. Kate was there. She was verbal. Chille says she assaulted him by falling on him. But it's not in the video, so we have no way of knowing other than Kate's word versus Chille's word. I tend to lean towards Kate. She's never lied to me. Chille has on multiple occasions and defamed me in front of live audiences. That being said, Josh told me that the reason the video's edited is he got positive, was going to get violated. So later on that day, he posts a video. James captures part of the video that shows the assault. Chille sees the video and tells Josh, take it down. So Josh has to take it down. And now they're driving around. And I'm going to tell the story, or do you think you should tell the story, Josh?
Go ahead, man. You're doing great.
Okay, as far as I know, this is what has been alleged to me. Chille pulls the car over and tells Josh that he's not going to post that video, because if he does post that video, he's going to tell Josh's parole officer that Josh was all up and down Mass Avenue doing tons of illegal narcotics in the presence of Chille, which would get Josh violated. Granted, they would do a drug test and find out that that was a lie, but it would typically take between 15 and 90 days for them to do that and for them to release him. That means Josh has this conundrum. Do I release the video and sacrifice 15 to 90 days of my freedom, or do I just withhold it and try to like clear my name and do all this stuff? So like he jumps on James Freeman's chat, looks like he's back in Chille, and you know, all of this is just to cover his own ass. You know, I'd offered, we tried to get Josh to a private hospital. I offered to pay for his drug testing so that they could turn that into his parole officer. Unfortunately, they won't accept that because they need a dick gazer. I don't know if I can say that on your channel, but they need somebody to physically watch and like he gets fondled or something every time he goes in. And so, yeah, they wouldn't accept that. But Josh cleared everything up with his parole officer. And now we're at pretty much where we are today with, I mean, a little bit more behind the scenes stuff. Oh, no. Then Josh is hanging, or Chille's hanging around Josh's house, showing up at random without notifying you, notifying Josh of, hey, I'm going to show up at your house randomly and use your internet without your knowing. And Chille tells Josh, because now we're in this little quarrel about this, him lying about the debate, that he's just going to show up at my house. He's going to show up at my house. And, I mean, it's a nice house. He'd probably like it here. I like it here, but I don't want Chille.
He'd probably move in and kick you out.
Yeah, he'd probably try to move in. But the way it was insinuated wasn't like he was going to come to my house and challenge me to a friendly debate. Is the way I understand it. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I get from the way he threatened to come to my house. Now, subsequently, he called me, and of course, he recorded the conversation. And just to get this out in front of everybody, I said a bad F word that ends with a T during that phone call. He's probably going to release it, so you guys can all hear me say a really bad word.
You said fart?
Yeah.
That was it.
It was one extra syllable. Fartet. So he's probably going to release that and try to, I don't know, defame me for saying a bad word, but that's all right.
You said
just
faggot?
That might be something I might have said once, but so yeah.
And just real quick, what James is referring to is the English translation to a bunch of sticks, and that's what he was saying. And he's a piece of shit. Go ahead, Lack. Sorry.
Yeah. So basically he threatened to come to my house. He jumped on the phone call, and of course during the phone call, the app that he uses whenever he's on the phone with you, he'll be like, it'll kind of like cut out and then pause for a second, and he'll be like, what was that? I can't hear you. And that's the app kicking in to record the conversation. And if you didn't know, if you ever have the an opportunity to talk with Chille, that's what's happening. And I recorded the conversation too, so if he ever releases a portion of it, I'll release the rest of it. But basically, you know, I told him everything. He tried to act like real nice and sweet because he knew he was recording, and he's obviously trying to get some kind of dirt on me or something. So he was asking me about this and that. And so every time I had to respond, I had to tell him, hey, you know, like you did this. No, I'm not going to help you. You did this. Repeat it over and over again. You'll probably hear it if he ever releases it. If not, maybe I will. So, yeah.
Isn't that kind of fucked up? Like, I'm sorry. So, I mean, not the most popular person in the 1A or volunteerist community, right? But I've talked
we all
to.
hate you. Yeah.
I know, that's okay. You can't hate me more than I hate myself, to be fair. But I've had phone conversations with numerous auditors over the years. I have never felt compelled to record one of them. Like when you are getting into such a distrustful relationship with someone who's supposed to be on your side, although I think that line of thinking is fucking ridiculous, and you are now compelled to have to record your conversations, like that is not a great individual in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is what we come to expect. I mean, and James kind of hit him with it. I will say that this is the time in the show where we do have a financial supporter. We have finally made it where we have paid promotions. A celebrity has stepped forward. So today's video is brought to you by the 360 cam, endorsed by Denzel Washington. So we really do appreciate that, Denzel.
Thanks, Denzel.
That's great work.
By the way, for anybody who's new to the goddamn community, like, we've been talking about 360 cams for like years before he even had an account on the internet. Like,
right, because it was my idea.
It's his idea. Yeah, of course. Or that he created the term beta. That was my word.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I'm also like the piece of shit, and I am a piece of shit. But I mean, like, the figurative piece of shit in this emphasis is like, I'm the piece of shit because I turned on him, right? Like, no, I just gave him a chance. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't be in this predicament had I just listened to wiser people that have been through this and be like, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't fucking go do that. But why? I'm the piece of shit now because I go out with this guy and then he fucks me over. Like, I welcomed him with open arms and I took a lot of heat for supporting him, but I would do that with anybody. Until you screw me over, I have no reason to not trust you. And that's exactly what happened.
And if he would have just shut the fuck up and kept on his mission, probably would have like not had all this fucking heat on him. But you know, and there's
it's a fucking lie.
Yeah, and there, okay, much like the situation with Josh, where there was blackmail for him to not release, alleged blackmail for him to not release the video showing him assault and batter a woman for her words. There are a lot more incidents that have gone through the court, and the reason those things haven't came out yet is because we are protecting a few people, and there are a few people that we can't allow them to have their lives damaged or destroyed, and there are victims. There is proof of it. That's all I can say for now. Hopefully, more will be revealed.
I mean, I know that Kate has a live stream going on, like 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight? Oh, look, she's frozen. Now we can talk shit about her.
She fucking rage quit, dude.
look at that.
She couldn't handle it.
Oh, wait, no, she's back. You there, Kate?
She's almost back.
We can't hear you.
I'm in my car.
Chille showed up and punched her.
There it is. Sorry.
So Kate's live at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard. I'm not going to talk about what happened at court, but that seemed to be, thanks, Fangirl, that seemed to be like really the crux of his being upset with me, is that I showed up and I sat in the gallery at a courtroom. I mean, I don't understand like how that works. Like, he also threatened me with a lawsuit. I sent you guys I think I sent everyone here the text message the other night. He sent me screenshots of me. Now, I did this because I knew he would do it. So I was trying to set the stage here. Kate challenges, we challenge each other to a fight for charity. So unlike Chille, I can legally punch her in the face. And kids with cancer win. So it's really just everybody wins here. But he sends me screenshots and he's like, "You're all over this chat." And I was like, "Yeah, so?" He's like, "Oh, you're not a good person. You're talking to the enemy. You know, I'm going to have to do all sorts." No. And then I said to him, after he said that, I go, "Isn't that strange? You're telling me that I'm a piece of shit for challenging a troll to a fight? Didn't you just challenge a troll to a fight, a boxing match in a fucking cop in Ohio?" And his response to that was, "Well, I'm going to be suing everyone, and now I have to add my friends to the lawsuit. I love it." So if you simply just disagree with him, you don't even have to disagree with him. You can just simply do something that he doesn't like. And the first thing he's going to do is sue you. But that's like taking someone and putting them in as your fourth line hitter, you know, at the biggest game of the season when you have the bases loaded and they can't hit the fucking ball to save their life. He strikes out every single time he goes to fucking short to court. I'm not putting him in a pinch hitter position.
And he's so fucking new. We've trolled each other's chats for years. Like, I've said fucked up shit about Josh. He said fucked up shit about me. It's all true on both sides. You know what I mean? Except for whoever came up with that fucking siphoning gas rumor. That is not true. Nor have I ever sex trafficked a child. But like, we've been doing, like, for him to even say that, like, we literally have been trolling each other's chats for fucking years.
I had to correct him on that, which was like just like basic understanding of like what law or principle is. Like, for my understanding, and I have a great understanding because anyone that dislikes Kate will always send me information about her, and that's one allegation that's never been made to me. But he tries to explain to the judge like, oh, like I'm for law and order, and I don't. He even lied in court. Now I won't give any more court information out, but he says that he's never met her. And me and the other guy in the courtroom, including the court corrections officer, who was like against him 100%. He didn't mind me because he knows me, but he thinks Chille's an asshole because this is the guy that Chille called a scumbag, right? So he goes, I don't know this person. I've not talked to this person. I've never met this person. And we all look at each other like, you spent the last court hearing showing a video of you running around with her. Now you're saying you don't know her, you've never met her. Like, my mind was blown. Like, if Chille's mouth is moving, there's some sort of bullshit coming out of it.
Worse than a cop, even. That's what bugs me about him. It's like everything that I despise about police and any level of government, everything I despise about them, I see it in Chille. And that's why I've despised him since day one. And I've kept my mouth shut about it for the most part, too, except for, in private conversations with people like yourself, Josh, and Lackluster, where I've just said, look, man, I don't have any evidence of anything, but I'm telling you, personally, I don't trust the guy. And turns out over time, there's a reason not to, right?
He's making me dislike cops just by comparison, because I was looking at my interaction with him and I'm like, shit, if I had interactions with cops like that more often, I'd be out filming them every fucking day, every day.
Well, you kind of look at like who's the true tyrant in the situation. And I think pretty much like everyone on this panel said it. And a lot of people are kind of echoing that in the different chats from all the different videos that have been covering this. But he seemed like a tyrant more than anybody. But the one thing I would like his subscribers to know is that you are following him because you believe in his capability to lead, right? And you might forego some of his transgressions because you believe in what he's doing. But look at the basic principles and ask yourself, does this make sense? All cops are bad every single time. Never call the cops. And every 6-year-old little girl should be told not to call the cops because they will rape her. To immediately turn around, and the first thing you do is go to the police. The first thing you do is press charges. We as activists, auditors, journalists, whatever you want to call it, we understand that we can go out and we can film whatever we can see in public. We can follow people around. Chille also thought I was undermining him because it's pretty clear in his video and in mine that when he was like, oh, she's following me around, filming me. And I said, well, yeah, she can do that. That's the same thing we're doing to cops. She's doing to you. Just have a good time and troll her back. Like, there's a reason that she didn't do that shit with me is because I wouldn't get triggered. But you can't preach total transparency and the ability to film anything you can see in public until that person is you. You can film everyone else. It's always but Chille. Do what I say, not as I do. You can film everyone but Chille. You can screw over everyone but Chille. And it makes sense that every single person he meets with, there's some sort of discord afterwards. There's always some sort of problem. I mean, maybe the first two people, it's a cult of personality issue. There's basic disagreements. But when every single person like that he has anything to do with, and these are people that help him, like San Joaquin Valley Transparency released a video for Chille. Lackluster had put in a several $100 super chat in his live stream after he was released. We're all people that want to find the best and will excuse some maybe poor mistakes. I mean, I've made mistakes in my life, and I'm sharing a panel with some great people because it's not who I was yesterday, what I am today, and I'm working, and we're all trying to make the community better. But Chille doesn't even think you're a community. Like, he's now separated himself where he's not an activist, he's not an auditor, he's just fucking Chille. And
hey, I do that too. I try to do that too, AFA.
No, you're an auditor. You've told me.
And to be fair, I think he's at a point where he has to do that because whatever the community thinks it is rejecting him. And just to be clear, I've only one other time ever spoken out against anybody who's called themselves an auditor, and that was because he lied to me and told me that he didn't call the cops on himself to create the video, and he did, and I found out through having to FOIA request 911 calls, and I looked like a dickhead. So that was, other than that, that was, years on the platform, never talking out of line about anybody on the platform.
Neither have I.
And even this is a culmination of a year's worth of sitting back, waiting, watching, really assessing the situation, and it getting worse and worse and worse to the point where I think that personally, I think he might be somewhat dangerous and could hurt somebody. The way that he flipped out on Kate for her speech, and he'll say it's because she fell on him. That's exactly what he's been saying. He'll probably change that verbiage at some point too now. But up to now, he's been saying, well, it didn't show that Kate fell on me. Well, if she fell on you, it wasn't an accident, because you wouldn't address that either in your chat. But if that's the point, and that's going to cause you to actually assault and batter, and I mean, it wasn't terrible what he did, like the small little push and the little elbowing and the stopping. It's not like it caused any injury or any real damage to Kate, but is it appropriate? No, you don't initiate violence over words. That's the whole point. It's the whole point of every fucking video I've ever made. It should be the point of every video he fucking makes, but he loves the initiation of force against
Lackluster. How much would we lose? How much would we lose our minds if it was a cop being recorded and a cop did what Chille did to her? I mean, we would lose our fucking minds. I mean, freaking minds over that. All of us. Everybody watching here would.
It wasn't the force for me, though. It was the fact that he was doing these things with the clear intention. He wanted to see me arrested, put in the torture cuffs, and thrown in the dungeon. That's why he was doing it. He was trying to initiate a physical altercation so that he could turn around and go, she's the aggressor. He actually said on numerous occasions verbally to the police, she's the aggressor. There was no aggression. I said he was my brother and he was mentally retarded. I stand by the second statement.
It was
and
funny.
In his video too, he covers the camera and tells Josh, like, don't worry, I'm doing this on purpose. I'm doing this on purpose. I think you even responded to that. Like, did you just say you did that? You're doing this on purpose? So it's like,
he said I wanted to get her on something, and now I have. And again, I'm looking at it because I try to see 360 degrees of an issue as much as I can with my own inherent biases. But I'm thinking, like, my God, if I saw a police officer, I've seen the video that Michael Picard put out where you can hear the officers literally plotting to, throw any charges on him. It sounded exactly like that. I was like, holy shit. Like, this is well,
don't get it twisted either. Like, he absolutely, I believe, was trying to get, like, because he thinks in his mind that by holding the camera on him, and that's what you folks also have to believe at home, right? What is more of a viable thing to believe? The camera angle that only shows Chille, or the two other cameras that show what he's doing? You know what I mean? Like, and I think he was trying to bait Kate into an altercation, but don't get it twisted for 1 second. If I thought that's all it was, I love a good fucking trolling, I would have absolutely stayed back and just laughed at Kate getting destroyed. Unfortunately, he just didn't have the tongue fu to do it. He didn't have the verbal jujitsu in the repertoire, and that's why I liked it so much. I thought it was really fucking fun. But he didn't have that, so he got triggered. The only reason I stepped in is because there were a shit ton of kids around us, and I'm thinking that he's going to do one of these hip checks. He's going to push her. She's going to fall over into some child, and then some kid is going to get hurt. Like, 100%.
He pushed me over on a guy with freaking cast and crutches. Did you see that? He literally pushed me back over a guy.
People will be blinded by it. Like, people will be blinded by that and say, oh, no, we'll believe Chille that only shows him. Now, Michelle brings up, why did he say that you edited your footage? I did not edit my footage. So when I'm filming, I have an Android phone. What I will do is I will press the record button, and then when shit's not going on, I'll just press pause. So that way later I don't have to cut up and edit an hour-long video and I don't kill my memory. So at this point, he's just bitching to the cops. So there's nothing happening. So I have the pause set. So that's what happens when he turns around and look how this argument works only against him, but not for him. I did the same thing with Kate. I didn't catch him elbowing her phone, right? He doesn't want to mention that. What he'll mention is that I edited the video to somehow doctor it up to make it appear as if she went after him. He didn't go after her. So let's just say that's true. I would like to agree with Mr. DeCastro that is absolutely the truth. So what I would like to question in that sense is, what about the 7 other times? I'm going to play this real quick. So the first one that I missed when she bumped into him. So let's watch the...
Get away from me. Get away from me. I'm with him. There's cops everywhere. You want to get arrested?
So real quick, the reason it looks like it's edited, guys, is because now 7 minutes have elapsed. He didn't just bump into her, and then he's switching directions. He's running around telling kids that cops are going to rape them. Not great stuff to have on camera, and it's really just a waste of time. So I had the camera paused, and then I go back and play when she starts doing the I'm with him.
Don't trust cops. Don't trust the cops.
That's right, here. This is my brother's country out. You are getting really close to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a commercial for Buzzsaw.
And he did it right there, if you guys can see. The reason what he's doing is he keeps stopping is because he's trying to get her to run into him. And even the cop calls out. I'll fast forward it right to the next part where he loses his mind.
He even moves back and actually bumps his body into her on purpose. He didn't even stop short and make her run into him. He stopped and ran into her backwards. Like, it's so obvious. I don't know how anybody disputes
constantly get
this.
close to me too. Like, that's what he like. Even when he wasn't bumping into me, that's why I'm saying things like, you're, for someone who wants to be left alone, you're really in my personal space. He was trying to physically intimidate me by getting closer and closer and closer to me. You can kind of see in this, but I was trying to maintain distance, an appropriate amount of distance. And a lot of the time when that video is paused, it's because I'm way back with Josh, who is literally talking sense into me and saying, chill for a minute, there's kids around.
Yeah.
And I didn't have this part, but I still went and found it and added it in the sense of transparency. So the whole video would be there, which you can see. He knocks the phone right out of her hand.
I want to adjust something in the chat too. There's a bunch of not a bunch. There's a couple Chille bootlickers in the chat that are saying this is all about snitching. It's not about snitching. James Freeman said it perfectly the other day. This is about us wanting to expose police, right? And when we see a cop tase somebody that's in handcuffs and put them on the ground and then beat the shit out of them, and you got 5 other cops standing around doing fuck all about it, we want those 5 cops to call the one bad cop out, right? We have to do the same thing. We have to do the same thing. When we see something bad, we have to call it out and expose it to the community. Otherwise, we're just as bad as those 5 fuck all cops.
Yeah, I want to address something really quickly as well. Like people saying, oh, Josh invited Kate. I did not invite her to come down with us. What I did is once she was there, I was like, you want to hang out with us? You want to walk around? Go ahead, because I enjoy it. As far as I'm concerned, it's great fun to troll Kate Peters for an hour. That's good fun to me. So, but why wouldn't I invite her? Like, you know what I mean? We're it doesn't make any sense. So you have 6 separate occasions in this video where he goes hands-on to the point where I have to physically remove him, right? So, I just paused it for a quick second. And I've been doing this for a long time. If that's the biggest mistake that I make in the game, that's his one excuse, right? Where's all these other times? He's alleged in his own video that Kate bumped into him 6 times. Now, what I did is I went back and I looked and I timestamped to my video. So every time he said Kate pushed him, I showed you on this video. So where's all the other times that she ran into him? I mean, unfortunately, I don't think he ever saw that my video would get the light of day. But don't threaten me. Don't tell me what I can or can't do with my own channel. I just had to figure out stuff on my end before I could release it. But
it's evolved now. Now he's saying that I leapt on him like a fucking spider monkey or something. I lapped on him.
Right. You jumped on him. Yeah. You didn't even make physical contact, which was not bad balance, because what he was doing towards the end is he was like, all right, I get it. Now I've perfected this kind of art. So I know she's going to stay on my tail. So I'm going to walk real fast and then I'm going to stop super short once she gets right up my ass. So she stepped around him to the point where Chille knocks into this guy with crutches. It was a fucking nightmare. A nightmare.
And then he pushes me back onto the poor guy with crutches. You know, like I sidestep him, so Chille falls. And then he turns around and goes, Kate, what are you doing? And shoves me back onto the guy with crutches. Like, shout out to Crutch Boy. I fucking feel bad for you, man. You're the real MVP. That was bad.
And the cop calls him out for all this shit too. It's fucking wonderful.
He did that always mean a lot too. Like, I can understand why people wouldn't believe that, because I'm regarded as a bootlicker, so I can understand the presumption that the cops would take my side. They did not. They were actually very unhappy that I was there too. To be clear, they asked me to leave several times, but they couldn't lawfully order me to do so. So I was just like, nah, I'm good. Like, I'm gonna stay right here. First time for everything. But they were like, they were not taking my side. I can assure you, they were unhappy that we all were there, every single one of us.
See something, film something. Transparency in our community is important. Chille got caught. Facts. Side note: Kate is a piece of shit.
Accurate. Accurate.
Which is 100% accurate. Yeah, I appreciate you guys coming on. Masshole has a show at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard tonight. I wouldn't normally. Well, I'm going to, because I wouldn't normally send people your way, but there's going to be a very in-depth look at what happened in court today. James, just so you know, I have a newfound respect for the court of law. Listen, it sounds crazy.
Suck a dick.
The judge ruled Chille a troll.
What was being trolled? It's literally in the ruling. Yeah, the court actually ruled that he was being trolled. I shit you not.
The judge ruled that Chille had been trolled, and then Chille had a mental breakdown. But if you guys check out Masshole tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard, then you'll find out what happened in the courtroom. And another reason I want to send you there is because he's a constitutional law scholar, more like a constitutional cop collar, but he's a constitutional. Says it on his shirt. Right. It says on his shirt, so we should believe him. So the way that this should have ended up was Chille spoke so much legalese. The judge popped a Woody because he was so horny by all this legal sex talk that Chille's speaking. And then Kate runs for the fucking hills with her phone shoved halfway up her ass, along with the rest of the shitty internet channels. Or do you think that Kate may have started spitting out objections and Chille had a fucking meltdown? And do you think there were other channels that had the link to the Zoom conference and were watching it? You guys should go there and check it out, because you'll know. And also, a lot of the background, separate from what happened to me, I think that they'll be talking about as well. So that's 9 p.m. Eastern Standard. It's called the Masshole Report. But James Freeman, I wanted to let you know that God bless Joe Biden. Okay.
What about Allah?
Allah can take a back seat. Kamala's busy. There's only enough room for one person with a confusing name. Okay.
What was the court case about today? Was it about an attempted restraining order on Kate or something from Chille?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And we're going to hear more about that on your show tonight?
Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. Honestly, had I had your contact information handy, I would have sent you the link too, just because it was highly entertaining. It was really good. I think
you called me the other day. I think you have my.
I have not called you.
Oh, okay. Well, you can get my
unless
number
you count the 50 numbers that Chille tried to attribute as mine today. Maybe.
Oh my God, that's fucking hilarious. This guy's a fucking moron.
I just want to shout out my best friends, Josh Abrams, James Freeman, and Lackluster. We're all going cop watching together. Any day now. I'll drive.
You know what?
Actually, I don't care.
I won't drive. I'll travel.
Yeah, you have to travel, Jay. That's right. I couldn't help myself today. I was like, I seen like out of the periffs, my little peripheries, I see a cop walking towards us, like walking down the sidewalk, and I was like I smelt blood was in the air, and I went to go grab my phone, and I was like, all right, we are at a court of law. I will forgo this audit. And then the next one came
credit, I was like, go do it. Be yourself. I even yelled back the blue a couple times with him and announced that we were together. I told the Dunkin' Donuts clerk that he was training for the police academy because he wanted to hold minorities at gunpoint. That happened. It was a good time. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I told well, I mean, I think she's kind of fucked in Massachusetts because now police officers drove by and I was saying back the blue, and everyone in that area, whether it be a court officer, lawyer, or cop that drove by, they all knew who I was immediately by sight. So by seeing her with me, we've done a valuable, we've done something really great for the community because now even the police don't like her.
Yep, yeah, probably accurate.
Hey, we should go out and record together. And I don't know if you're into role playing, but I'll play the bootlicker and you play the auditor.
Yeah, I would do that.
I'm not bad at deep throating a boot. I'm not bad at it.
What's an
Just
auditor?
obey. Just obey.
If you ask Joe Orga, I believe it is, then I have been gangbanged by I think the entire Pawtucket Police Department, so I'm pretty well versed.
Lucky you. I want to get.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I call next.
Listen, don't get Lackluster in trouble. He's very happily married and he's got like several chickens to attend to, so we can't have that type of thank you, Vanguard. We can't have that type of person here. I cannot believe that it's just people just open your eyes, watch the totality of everything. And like people were thinking like, oh, fucking Freeman lost in that debate, blah, blah, blah. A lot of people were saying that in the chat. What's up? As if, but like, that's just a masterful troll. Like that's what Freeman does. Like you got to just watch for yourself. Don't take just what happened to me. Look at every single person that this has happened to and then decide for yourself. It has nothing about the auditing community turning on each other because number one, he's not an auditor, right? He is not part of this community. So you can't back him out. You can't be, have one foot in the door and the other foot out and then play both sides of the fucking tennis court. And secondly, Lack and James both bring up a great point. If you're walking down the street and you don't know the person you're seeing and you see Kate is a fucking cop and Lackluster's out there filming and he says something that, the cop doesn't like. So she beats the shit out of him. We are absolutely going to make videos about it. Every single channel is going to share it. Lawsuits are going to be filed because we can do that. We can go out and film in public. The tyrants are supposed to be the police, not the one holding the cameras on top of the police. And that's what this is about. And his manipulation tactics to go backhanded, and try and literally fuck people over and defraud you. That's what it is. It's fraud. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it or what his next excuse is going to be for this, but I mean, he's literally doing a Ponzi scheme. Like he's having Great Lakes audits who didn't know anything about this, but he's having these several channels go up and he's saying, hey, listen, guys, these poor people, they're going through all this strife and they need your help. So I've posted their Cash Apps and their Venmos in the chat. Please go to them. Please go to them and give them your money and help them. And you're like, yeah, fuck it. I'm going to go help GLA. I'm going to go help all these people. But what you don't see is behind the scenes in his Signal chat where he says, I'm going to list yours. He's talking about the Cash Apps. Anything over 5,000, we'll work with it for people involved, but it's going to be tough to reach $5,000. I'm going to list it and we're going to pull the money at the end. And then, well, why? If you're raising the money for them, why are you going to pull it? What are you going to do with it? Well, he has $4,000 going to Bobby and $1,000 going to someplace else. So let's use your case to try and get money in, and then let me just have the money, and I'll send it to where it needs to go.
Can you put that back up again? Because I just want to point something else out. And again, I know my opinions of me are low, but
this one?
This one right here. This one right here. Right. So he says for the public information request. I'm a lot of things that everybody hates, but even you have to admit, Abrams, I know public records requests at this point, like inside now. They do not cost money if they, or not very much money, not a substantial amount, if they are not really old records. So like the most that I've ever spent on public records, honestly, is Chille because a lot of his shit goes back 20 years. So like, but for the most part, we're talking like maybe $3 here, $9 there. You can often ask to waive the fee if you're using it for news gathering purposes, if it's for an ongoing litigation case, like you don't have to pay. So like he is actually lying to the people that he is defrauding further by saying, well, I need this for your public records request, when like it's an inconsequential amount of money, if anything at all. It's bullshit.
And it's also interesting that he's saying, I'm going to send $4,000 to Bobby Law. It's interesting because countless times, anytime he's talking about Bobby Law, he has you send the money other places because Bobby Law doesn't have a bank account. He doesn't have any of these financial institutions. I think you folks would find it interesting to know who actually carries Bobby Law's Cash App, which there'll be more to come. I wasn't going to do this. I didn't want to do this. I said simply I'm going to release the video. I'm going to let it. It is what it is. The truth will prevail. Kate was going to do her stream tonight. I had nothing more to say in the matter because I didn't feel like he had any reason to shit talk me. Like after everything that he did to me, what did I do? I showed up and I sat in court today and I released a video that if you don't like your actions in that video, you don't blame the person that released the video. You look at the asshole that's shoving women in the video and you say, you're a prick, not the guy fucking holding the camera. It is what it is. But that's the situation where we're at. And if you guys didn't know, James Freeman is a staunch liberal. He is a First Amendment auditor and a frauditor at the same time.
And a communist.
And he also will give you at a discounted rate. Lackluster might be selling them on his website, but we do have the Denzel approved 360 camera, because if the 360 camera was there, this issue wouldn't have happened.
Wouldn't have happened.
I think as like a closing for me, if this isn't enough for you, I understand. At the moment, it's all hearsay. It's all alleged, for all you know. So keep looking, but look openly, just like pay attention, see what's going on. Ask yourself which city Chille has left without victims, or maybe not victims, but without enemies. Ask yourself what cities he's left where he's actually done good. Are there any people that would stand up and say that not in just like the very recent past? Are there anybody that will say like, yes, he absolutely helped me out and did a tremendous job, and I'm so glad he rolled through my town. And then otherwise, just keep an open eye. And also, I want to give a big shout out to all the moderators in here, because I see how many hidden comments there were that they're just like nailing and making them public. Because there's if you haven't done a live stream, if you say something naughty on YouTube hides it, and then it gives the creator the option to show it or hide it forever. And they've been showing all your comments, good or bad, against us or for us. And you guys have been doing a knockout job. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Lack, for coming up, man, and everyone. I do appreciate the mods, by the way, and the members out there. I always say, like, I want anyone to say, as long as you're not doxing someone's personal address or their phone number, say whatever you want. If you look at my comment section, they're pretty much littered with hate for me. I kind of run on that hate. And someone had asked Freeman, they're like, hey, Freeman, that person said something mean about Josh. And Freeman was like, I don't block people in my own channel. What the fuck do you think I'm going to block them for here? I mean, but that's, again, the difference, right? If you even question Chille in support, he'll time you out if you're a member. He's now set his chats to 8 days only, and I guess he's re-upping that every day. So that way,
no, it's 9. It's 9. I checked.
It's 9 days now.
Pretty soon, you're going to need to give a blood sample and possibly sign over rights to your firstborn,
or a power of attorney.
Yeah. I don't block people in my chat either, so that's something we all have in common too. James always says we have nothing in common. We have a few things. I let people call me a fat slob. I don't allow doxing, and I'm tired of people talking about my daughter. That's really about it.
Yeah, the only person I have blocked is Merv. That's it. So.
But don't block.
I don't even know who that guy is.
Merv is my favorite second-year family law attorney. Stop it.
Yeah, second year. Thinks he's an expert. You're not missing anything, Lackluster.
Is he in your intro?
Mine or Kate's?
Kate's.
No, he's not. No, I don't mind Merv. I tease him, but I tease everybody. But I don't have anything. I mean, Merv would be more adversarial towards you guys. I mean, he's not always a fan of me. Is that Merv? I was talking about Merv, not Merv.
Yeah, the cock genie.
Oh God, I forgot I used to call him a cock genie.
Tell you one thing, James. I called one of her supporters, like, in the chat and financial, all that stuff, like a big fan. I made a meme and put his head on top of the genie and turned the lamp into a penis. And I put it on my community page called Merv the Cock Genie, and he fucking lost his mind over it.
Aww.
But I know you gotta run, Lack, because you had said you'd only had a half hour. We've been up here an hour 8 minutes, so I do
and do it
coming up.
Yeah, no problem. And to address somebody in the chat, Chille knows this is going on, and he's absolutely. It's been known that he's welcome to come up on here.
Yep.
He won't.
Yep.
He's
Oh, yeah.
watching on a sock account for sure.
Yeah, he
Nobody
can
knows
come
which
up.
one.
Yep.
But
Good
he
point.
can absolutely come out. It was put out in the chat, directed at him. So yes, this is not just a gangbang on Chille. He is welcome. But
He's been invited up.
refuses. He won't use his real account to watch it. I guarantee you he's watching on a sock account. Hi.
I mean, Lack does have to
On
go,
my panel later.
but I'll
that
keep
would
this
be-
going.
That would be
Yeah.
totally unfair for us to just sit up here and say all this and him not be allowed to defend himself at all. From the very beginning, he was offered, and still, the offer still stands, right, Josh? For him
Yeah,
to come
he's
up anytime he
welcome.
wants.
He's welcome to come up here. In fact, now here's the thing. I have not blocked him, but as soon as I left court today, I'm blocked on every single platform that exists as far as he's concerned. So I can't send him anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the link in the chat. And this is for Chille only. I can verify it. Chille, you are more than welcome to come up here because unlike on your channel, people have a voice here, even if it doesn't agree with mine.
I'll
I'll
call
even
him.
stick around for a few more minutes to see if he shows.
Here, I'll call him for you. I know he loves to hear from me.
Well, I'm not asking you to call him. I want to be clear. If you're calling him, you're doing so of your own volition.
No. I'm not. I don't think anybody else should call him. I just want to make sure that I mean, he's been sent messages. I think he knows about the show. I just want to make sure he knows.
Like Chille, come on up. I just allowed a comment that says you still beating women, Josh, you fat fuck, and I'm the one that allowed that. You know what I mean? Like, come on up, Chille. It's fine. Audatron, I really just want to keep this. I appreciate you coming up, brother. I really appreciate it, but I want to keep this open just for Chille, should he want to come
And
up.
I think he's been calling out Lackluster for weeks about not wanting to debate him, and Lackluster's right here. I don't know where
He
Chille is. He was invited, though.
I mean,
My
it's
audio's
a cool
cutting
show.
out. Repeat what you said.
I said Chille's a faggot.
No, a bundle of sticks, and he said, "Forget about it," is what he said. You forget about it.
Forget it. Forget it.
You're the one, but maybe it was you because because Chille brought that up in court today and blamed me for people calling.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
He did.
James Freeman was mentioned vicariously through Zoom today.
Really?
James Freeman is saying, "Forget about it unless you want to come up here." And
Yeah,
you're more
forget
than
about it.
welcome to.
Forget about it.
My panel is. You know what? Let me pin it. So the chat's moving pretty quickly. I don't want it to be an issue where it went by too quickly. So I am going to yes, this is live, DJ. I'm going to pin this in the chat so that way he didn't miss it because I'm thinking he wants to come up here, but he just wasn't able to. So there it is. It's pinned. Guys, I'm going to do a shameless plug right now. Sovereign Soul Unchained Mindset, he sent me gay porn. Oh, I'll bring something else up real quick. As far as the whole gun issue went, that's an interesting story. I don't know if you guys are aware of that whole thing where the guy accused him of stealing the gun. That was interesting. Don, I'm only going to I appreciate you coming up, brother. It's nothing personal. I want to make sure that even though I have 10 spaces, the remaining 7 spaces are for Chille and his ego. So he is invited up here.
Shit.
You psycho chick! Stay away!
I may need to step down to give another spot for his ego too.
Did you see this lovely picture that Harry Balls drew for Chille too? I think it's really nice.
No, where is it?
It's my avatar right now.
Okay. Now what is this that we're looking at?
Nice. That's super
It's
necessary human.
Yeah. I thought it was a good piece of art. It's very flattering. His tits look great.
Super necessary. Now what is his powers?
He can defraud diabetic hospitals or associations pretty much. It's his superpower.
Well, I mean that's absolutely Billy. I appreciate you being backstage, bud. I'm just gonna have Chille up here, so nothing against you, man. Everyone is normally welcome, but I just want to allow Chille space, and maybe he wants to bring friends. He had several people to appear as witnesses via the telephone today in court for him. So while he was on a Zoom conference, he's holding his phone up like this. So I think Breaking the Flaw was one of the people that were going to testify for Chille. one may not been Cyrax. I don't know why I thought that. It just popped into my head. I could be totally wrong.
I'm glad they didn't let Cyrax testify, because I'm telling you, if Chille and Cyrax actually speak, it will be devastating for me.
Well,
I don't
his
like to
other
show my
witness-
cards like that usually, but it will be really bad if Chille and Cyrax, like the two of them. I don't want to say for sure they would take me down, but it would be a pretty close call. So I just don't want that to happen. Please.
The other person that was gonna go up there and speak for him was Lispy, actually, Freeman.
Oh, really?
I didn't know.
Very, very credible.
I didn't know who was on the phone, but he was talking about in his live stream how several people had warned him about me. I'm not going to mention their names. I do know who they are, but people can support who they want. My issue is with him. So, but there were some other channels that he was mentioning, and he mentioned Lispy. And that was one
probably
of
the most credible witness you could ever bring into a courtroom in the United States.
Right.
I mean, it's hands down the most credible. Does everybody know who Lispy is? No? Nobody knows?
He's
Nobody
an
knows?
auditor.
Can I just say it, AFA?
He's Blues Bow Boostin is his channel name. Blues Bow Boostin.
He's supposed to be suing me too, because I asked the question if he had Chomo in his bloodline. So it was a question. There was a question mark at the end of that. But yeah, he's suing me too. That's no, you should definitely bring up a convicted.
Okay, Chille, come on up, man. Listen, like I'd really like to bring Chille up. He is in the chat because I know his sock account. I know this one specifically, and he couldn't even, fucking disguise himself just a tiny bit. How far up is it? It's hold on, I'm gonna pull it up. Free woman, it's this one. Free woman loves cops. But where's the other comment that he made?
Oh, I should have known that was him, because he was asking how long, or if I still do meth, which is not true.
Yeah, and then he said, Kate, why? Like, so that's Chille 100%. I know that to be true. So now Chille,
I almost called that one out too, because all he's been saying is like "fuck Lackluster" and all sorts of shit.
I mean, Chille, if you want to come up and ask me why I lost my kids, I've answered this many times. I could answer it again. I'll answer it right now.
We do have
domestic
Chille.
violence.
Well,
the government decided to hold me accountable for being abused.
I'm bringing
what
him up.
happened.
You guys ready?
Oh, is he coming in?
Yeah, he's coming in. He's backstage. We'll bring him up right
Sweet.
now. All right, guys. Chille, what do you have to say about the whole situation, Chille?
I don't stop.
Okay. What do you say about the allegations that I and Kate and others have made here against you today?
Oh, shit.
I'm gonna sue you.
Okay. Do you have anything to say as far as Lackluster and James Freeman as well being up here calling you out?
You know what? Fuck those guys. Rage quit.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Oh, he's gone. He rage quit. He's out. He's out of here. I would say that he does a great Chille impersonation, but you guys have to see Chille's brother, Lyle. That shit is just fucking hysterical. Lyle DeCastro.
Yeah,
Judge Waldo.
Yeah.
Judge Waldo. I guess he's not going to come up. I did want to give him the opportunity.
I'll leave if he's still in fear for his life because I'm on a panel. Like I'll leave so he'll come up.
And just so people what I'm going to do is something real quick, because I don't want people to be like, oh, he's backstage and you guys aren't letting him up. As you can see, I'm taking a picture that I even have to do this because he will say things like this. Oh, I was backstage. Yep. You wouldn't let me up. So now I'm messaging that picture to myself so I can post it right now and show you that no one's backstage, because he will absolutely go tell all of you that he was backstage and AFA wouldn't let him up because I'm a piece of shit. And so I really normally wouldn't even do this, but I just know ahead of time the shit that he's going to pull.
The experiences you have with him tell you what you have to do. Document everything. Just like it's the same thing with government. You have so many experiences with government that you learn. You document everything. Same with Chille.
All right, so here's the picture. I pulled it up. Let me share my screen real quick. There's only 2 people that have been backstage, and I called them out by their avatar. But this is my backstage right now. It's just James, Lack, slimy troll, and AFA holding a camera. So that
does look slimy as fuck.
Yeah, fact. That's a slimy. Oh, I'm gonna make a meme today. So no Chille is a no-show.
It better be
Well,
a
he's
good meme,
here.
or I'm
He's
gonna
in
fix your
chat.
Photoshop and send it back, just so you know.
Well, yeah, he's in chat, but he won't come up here and talk to us.
But and that's his MO. I've seen tons of live streams where if he's the center of attention in not a positive light, he stays in chat.
Now, you've had some heat on you as well, Lackluster, and I don't want to start any controversy. There's been some controversy that, well, let me pull it up because I know the comments in the chat. I don't want to start anything, so still be a fan of Lackluster even after seeing this. But there is a channel called Blackluster that says he stole my name. And I mean, what's going on with you and Blackluster? Do you know this guy?
It's true. I took the logo as well.
All right, well, I don't want to have to keep you guys anymore. And I know you have to go. I think that what else you got anything else, James?
Yeah, maybe Chille can come up and we'll all leave and he can have the show because I don't care if we're even here to discuss with him. I love hearing the guy speak. It's fucking hilarious.
I will do that.
It's comedy fucking gold. We can, nobody here to disagree with him or say anything. He can just have the show. How about that?
Great point, late night. Chille is going to go live after this panel. So here's what I will do. And I promise this on my word. I will give him 15 minutes to say whatever he wants. I will drop everyone, including myself, off panel. And I will allow him to say whatever the hell he wants. And everyone knows that if
I have to go, but I'll come back if he wants me to. Otherwise, I'll be gone.
I appreciate it, Lack. I'll stay up here just for 5 more minutes. Thank you for coming, everyone. I know you already have subscribed to Lackluster, but if you haven't, subscribe to Lackluster, James Freeman, and we'll also see you at the Masshole Report tonight so you can find out what happened in court.
I'll be there.
Very, very interesting if you haven't seen it.
Good to see
and
you all.
You can insult me and
Kate.
bring all your grievances. I'll let every Chille sucker up on my channel, and you can just baste me.
I should be a lawyer. I really should be a lawyer.
I said that today. Did I not?
You're not that shitty of a person, Josh. I mean, you got some flaws, but you're not that shitty.
I gave decent legal advice today.
Don't say that.
I was the constitutional law scholar today, bitches. All right, fuck it. I'm just gonna end it because we all know he's not gonna come up, and if he's gonna start his live stream so he can be too much of a coward to just speak about it man to man, he can just create his own live stream with 500 watching but only 20 chatting because he's blocked everyone or they haven't been a subscriber for 6 weeks. So
one more thing. Sorry, I forgot to tell you. Subscribe to the Fake News Network on YouTube.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh, it's so good. It's so
shameless plug.
Let's do backup channels here.
I'm subscribed.
Pull it up. Monster drop the link.
Like Bao streams the best though. Bao is my favorite.
I agree. I get sucked in. A lot of times I see he's live and I refuse to click because I know I won't leave until it's over.
Yeah, same. I'm there all the time.
I bought a video the other day for him to play, and it was so heinous that he had to manually click on it because Streamlabs or whatever he used auto. We were like, nope, we can't play this. I think it was a Cyrax video, but yeah.
What is this? I think I have to play something.
That. It's only 30 seconds. It's muted. Oh no.
I've admitted I'm a previous murderer, rapist. I'm a previous child molester. I'm the worst person ever. I used to beat my own mom. My dad's dead. I killed him. I'm the worst. I tortured small animals. I'm the worst person ever. Ever. I'm a cutter. I cut myself. I take tons of methamphetamine. I'm a drug addict. I'm an alcoholic. I'm a rapist.
Well, I don't know what you want me to say about that one. You said it. That's all right.
Not even edited. I just cut that out. He said all of those things in that exact order. All I did is chop 30 seconds out of the video and upload it as is.
So everyone go to the Fake News Network. I know that the mods have it in the chat. I don't even know what's going on with my life. Subscribe there. And also everyone that's here, please subscribe to my second channel, the AFA Crew. We don't really do much but talk a lot of bullshit, make fun of people, and like lick James Freeman's boots and do stuff like that. But when I go live, I'm going to be going live from there. I won't be going live from my channel any longer. So you know what? I usually never mute anybody, but if one of the mods want to hit Fake Chille, because here's how I look at it. If you're not going to be man enough to come up and face me one-on-one and talk to your community and your subscribers in person, why the fuck am I going to let you do it from the chat? You don't want to voice, you're too much of a bitch to everyone, then be silent. Peasant. I can do the little wave. Everyone subscribe to the backup channel, the AFA Crew. I'll be going live there. Appreciate it. We'll see you over at the Masshole Report tonight. We have some good stuff going on. James Freeman is an auditor and a commie, and Lackluster stole his channel from Blackluster, and I beat women and have tits.
Especially the second one.
One is true. I'll let you decide. like we know it's you, Chille. Like, just come. All right. I'll catch y'all later. Thanks, Lackluster, James, Trash Bag, or Slimy Troll, whatever your name is, Kate. Appreciate everybody. Later.
See ya.
All right, we're off the air. Say really bad stuff, James. No, don't.